Are you familiar with any of the candidates in the 2020 election?
I don't like Trump.
You don't like Trump?
That's all I know.
No Trump.
No.
Okay. Today we're going to interview college students on the 2020 election. All right, so what are your guys' names?
I'm Kevin.
Kevin and
Ty.
Ty. Do you guys follow current events or politics closely?
Just a little bit. I'm like an economics major, so yeah.
If it's on the Daily Show, then yes. But otherwise,
How interested are you in politics?
A lot. I
lot?
do my
follow
PhD. Yeah, I do my PhD in political science, and I have always been a political nerd. I would say, always following like politics.
That's good.
So what's your name?
Brendan.
Brendan.
Yes,
So
indeed.
Do you follow politics or current events closely?
I do, yes.
You do?
Mhm.
Which side of the political aisle would you say you lean on?
I definitely identify as being a bit more on the left side
On
of the
left
spectrum.
side of the aisle. What's your name?
Julia.
Julia?
Okay. How closely do you follow politics?
Not closely at all.
Not closely?
Nah.
How much do you think you follow politics?
To be honest, I don't think I follow it at all.
At all.
Yeah, which
Alright.
is bad. But
Okay. So what are your guys' names?
Adam.
Adam
I'm Rifa.
and Repo. All right. Do you guys follow current politics or news closely?
Mildly. I watch enough YouTube to know that it's like usually my feed, CNN, Fox. I get a bunch of CNN and Fox. I'm always watching both sides.
Yeah.
We use this Washington Post.
What is it?
Washington Post.
Washington Post?
Yeah.
Is there a political side of the aisle that you guys lean towards?
I'm an independent, so I'm unaffiliated by like Maryland laws, but
Uh-huh.
I lean slightly, like I'd say I'm like 51% liberal, like to the
Uh-huh.
left.
Uh-huh. You?
Same.
Same?
Yeah.
What is your name?
Oh, Tony.
Tony? All right. Do you follow politics at all or current events?
No,
Not too much.
not too much.
Have you heard anything about the 2020 presidential election or the candidates in it?
Has candidates?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I don't know. Yeah.
So, out of the 2020 candidates so far, who do you think who catches your eye?
Man, I don't know because I still don't know like who will be the Democratic candidate.
Mhm.
But I would never vote for Trump,
Yeah.
and I would vote like for any Democratic candidate. To be honest, I like Kamala. I like Elizabeth Warren. Yeah, I would vote for anyone, not Trump.
So is there any candidates that either of you guys have like your eye on in the 2020 election?
For me, I kind of liked Andrew Yang. I'm a little bit like questionable about the UBI.
Uh-huh.
It's like I'm not too sure if that would just like be like just a lot of inflation for the
Yeah.
economy. I would really like to look into it more though, because I don't like to just take people's opinions
Uh-huh.
for like face value. Yeah.
really, I don't know much about like what their stances are or like
Uh-huh.
what policies they be trying to enforce. I guess really I would just say Biden because he was with Obama. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I support Obama. But yeah, I just feel like there's new Democratic candidates every day. I've just lost count. So
Do you know any of the 2020 candidates coming up? No, you don't. Have you heard of like Joe Biden or Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders?
Yes.
Do you like any of those or like?
I guess I'm more familiar with Joe Biden, and I don't really have a negative opinion, or I'm not really too fond of him. It's neutral.
Who do you think you're looking to support in the 2020 race?
So far, I've had my eye on I've had my eye on Andrew Yang so far. I don't really have a particular like idea in the race of who I would be supporting. I think that Andrew Yang stuff is interesting. I'm not sure if he's going to go anywhere. Biden seems a little bit interesting. The Republican nominee, I mean, we all know it's going to be Trump,
Yeah.
so like everybody knows that's going to be that. But Biden and Yang seem to be what's interesting me so far.
Biden and Yang. We actually have a video on Andrew Yang, funny enough.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So who would you support in the 2020 Democratic primary? Or is there anyone that catches your attention?
Oh gosh. To be quite honest, I just want whoever is going to be most likely to unseat the current occupant of the White House.
Yeah.
So, Biden has certainly got the most support. I think 538's got him up by at least 10 percentage points right now. So, if that's what it ends up being, I'd be okay with it. Personally, though, if everything else were equal, I would really love Elizabeth Warren to get the nomination.
Yeah.
I think she's probably the best spoken of all the candidates by far, the most informed, and I would like to see what she'd actually get done in the White House. I think she's much more able to establish coalitions, much better informed about what's going on than a lot of the other people in the field. And honestly, I just think she's probably the most qualified out of anybody who's running.
Do you know any of the candidates in the 2020 election?
No, I really don't. Well,
Well, Trump.
yeah, I know that. That's about it.
Do you know Joe Biden?
Yes. Oh, I didn't even know he's running.
Yeah, he's running.
Oh, okay,
He
yes, I
actually
know
has the
him.
lead right now by like 10 points.
Okay.
What about Bernie Sanders? You know him?
Yes, I do know him.
Do you, out of those people, like, who do you tend to like lean with more?
Probably. I actually really like Joe Biden. I gotta say, yeah. I know a lot of his stuff from like the past. I don't know if anything changed. I'm guessing not, but I'd probably say him.
All right. Is there a candidate that you guys have your eye on in the 2020 election?
So I'm not gonna lie, I'm Yang Gang right now, and it's
Yang
it's
Gang.
it's less about his UBI because that's really his biggest push right now in the media. I think it's just more of the fact that he actually has policies. Like that's just so refreshing to know that he actually has something to work with. It's not just like anti-Trump. Like, I'm so tired of it, man. It's just what do you have as a candidate to offer me besides the fact that you hate Trump? Okay, we get it. That's the sentiment, but policies now. Let's talk real stuff. And I think just him, anytime somebody addresses him on a policy, he just lists it off the top of his head and he expands some more off that. I'm just like, that's so refreshing. So I'm Yang Gang just because of his ideals, the stuff he says, and it's actually unorthodox, because he's usually talking about just, here's one, things like moving from state to state. The rates of people, it's a term for it, the rates of people moving from state to state for work has actually declined. People are just staying where they are, and he has a policy on that. He thinks it's good when people move, and he wants to incentivize that. I'm like, so refreshing to know that it's not controversial, it's something that's actually beneficial to the economy, and he actually has things to list on a piece of paper.
Yeah. Do you have anything to add on that?
I like Bernie Sanders
Like
just
Bernie?
because he was my neighbor.
He was your neighbor. Did
Yeah.
you live in Vermont?
Yeah, I did live in Vermont.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
yeah. We trick-or-treated at his house, and his wife is lovely, so
What-
I like him.
What is he like?
He's
he like
really
personally?
sweet, actually. He's really, really sweet. He went to he visited my high school. Like where I went, he gave us a little talk. He's a really sweet person, so I really like. I also like old people. Like I love to talk to them because I feel like they have so much to like tell you and like advice on life. So yeah.
All right, I gotta say something about Bernie. I love Bernie, but like at the
No,
same.
he has some flaws.
No.
He has
I
quite a
love
few
Bernie
flaws.
for his authenticity. He will tell you straight to his face, and he's consistent. You can't argue that. Even though I think what he's saying is ridiculous, he's consistent with how ridiculous he is. He doesn't flip-flop. However, when he says stuff like, if you can write a best-selling book and become a millionaire too, what's the difference with saying you can build a great business and become a billionaire? When he said that, I'm like, doesn't that go against your socialism narrative? I was like, all right, guy, you just got exposed. And after that, I was like, don't say stuff like that and still push socialism when you're the one who just literally told people you can write a best-selling book and become a millionaire. That's capitalism, my guy. He said capitalism, but preaching socialism. I'm not with that. But I like you like him.
What would you say is your most important issue in deciding who you would vote for?
Well, I'm not American, so I don't vote here. But if I had the right to vote, I would say that like immigration would be like the main issue for me, and also like reform the health system in the U.S. Like the health system here is pretty fucked up, and that would be like my two priorities.
Who or what issue is kind of most important to you going into the election?
To be quite honest, I think it's one of perception more than anything else. Whether or not I agree with it, the United States is still a dominant economy in the world, still largely controls what happens in terms of establishing standards, establishing rhetoric, and the entire global agenda of what's going on. We've got military bases everywhere, and the decisions that we make here in terms of economics, in terms of sanctions, have ramifications for the rest of the world, which means that whoever occupies the White House is fulfilling much more than just a policy-making role. They're the representative of the United States and largely of the global order. So what I'm really trying to say here is I want someone to be in there that is not blatantly giving the middle finger to the rest of the world.
Someone takes the responsibility of the office seriously and understands the weight of their position.
Not just that, but someone who represents the United States to the rest of the world in a way that is going to be positive, beneficial, and leads to confidence in the United States. Someone who, unlike the current occupant, would project an image of the United States as being full of people who actually pay attention and care, rather than a minority of people who really want nothing other than, it seems, violence and ignorance.
Are you planning to vote in the upcoming election?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What would be your key issue voting in the election?
That's a tough one. I guess it will have to be either regarding immigration or just like the whole thing with like the abortion laws.
What are you looking for out of those?
I guess someone that isn't. I know. I feel like they're controversial issues, but like regarding immigration, just someone that's open-minded and it's willing to listen to people. And with the abortion law, it's the same. Just someone that's willing to listen to what different people say. That they're not just set on their opinion.
I guess my key issue would kind of be more with the economy. We're in an expansion right now. Are we doing enough to get rid of the debt that we have? Yeah, and just what they would do to tackle it. I would also think maybe what we're doing about OPEC too, for being strong in them, and making sure oil prices stay good, and I guess too, just making sure business conditions are always pretty good. So
I guess really for me it would just be immigration. Really just more how we handle it. I think the improvised camps and the separation of children is crazy. I understand that we have to protect our borders and we can't just let anyone in. Of course.
Yeah.
But I just think we could do a better job of handling that, as well as with the new abortion laws coming up. Personally, I just wouldn't do it. Obviously, I'm not a woman. That's not really my place. But I just think by outlawing it, it's just making it more unsafe because women are going to get it anyway, however they can.
I was just gonna say I kind of agree with the immigration thing too. That's a good point. That we should definitely need more reform in that area, and just a lot more time spent into that.
Yeah. What's the most important issue to you as a voter going into the election?
I would say the economy. I mean, there's a shift in the economy, and Yang talks about it a lot. It's definitely, he says it best, the biggest reason why Trump got elected. I mean, we neglected half of the entire country, the middle of the country, we just forgot about. And there's always this joke, what are you going to let the trucks drive themselves? And we're actually getting to that. It's not a joke anymore. It's not funny. So yeah, I think his solutions might be a little bit too far into the future. I think his 1,000 a month is more realistic, maybe a decade or 2 decades from now. But the fact that he's talking about something, he said it best, the socialism capitalism dichotomy is outdated. It's true. You can't be all capitalism and you can't be all socialism. We have to have a mixed economy, and the U.S. does have a mixed economy. But for us to be completely focused on, capitalism all the way, socialism all the way, it's a little silly and naive for all of us to be even having this debate with a shifting economy like this. I mean, technology is taking over, and at some point, your skill set, my skill set, it's going to be rendered useless. And what are you, Ben Shapiro is going to be like, I don't know, find something else to worry about. It's like, I'm sorry, I can't. This was what I studied. This is what I did. It's going to be hard to shift. And I think giving people an income is definitely viable, in my opinion. I don't know.
Okay, no, I agree. I think the economy, but I think we also have to focus on China. Because we're relying a lot on China and we're becoming very dependent on it. They're doing 5G networks. I don't know if you guys know about this, and the US is trying to use their 5G, and they're currently, they have 5G there and they're working on 6G. So while we're trying to use their 5G, we're still stuck in 4G and we don't know what to do. So later on, they might write some stuff in their code that will mess up with our system here. And if you're becoming reliant on another country using that technology that's theirs, the people that work in computer science and every software networking and stuff, they won't know how to do this stuff anymore because they're dependent on another country, and I feel like that's a big problem.
All right, and that was it for our questions. So
For real? Yo, you guys got the name of your YouTube channel?
yeah.
Thank you for watching the Zach and Matt show out here at the University of Maryland. If there's any more questions you would like us to ask students, suggest below. If you liked the video, please subscribe. The Zach and Matt show will be back.
Come together, feel it.